this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
At Lowe's, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, install, and more when you spend $2,500 on select major appliances. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 2/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, Florida. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Visit your nearby Lowe's on East 17th Avenue in Hutchinson.
Sometimes all we want is more of the same, like another round of golf played from a channel with 24/7 coverage, another look at the garden, and the deer as they pick their way through it, another Taco Tuesday, followed by a whatever's in the fridge Wednesday. And to get more of the same, all we need is a little help. With adaptable care plans from qualified, compassionate caregivers matched to your family's needs, Home Instead can help you and your passions stay home, no matter what's on your horizon. Visit Home Instead online for a better what's next.
Body Bags with Joseph Scott Moore. One of the things that I absolutely love about Body Bags is that we are not a regional show. We do cases, Dave and I do cases from not just across America. We cover cases from all over the world, okay? And the reason I love that is not necessarily because we're covering, horrible deaths. It's the idea that that part of my brain gets stimulated because I learn about new places. And, just like offices that work death cases, they vary from region to region, okay? And I don't know, Dave and I have covered cases out of India, Ireland, Great Britain, Australia. We've had a bunch of those. We've done several out of various Southeastern Asian countries, South America, and of course all over North America, including Canada and Mexico. But you learn you pick up a little bit, and it's almost like what's the word? You live vicariously, I think, to a certain degree, because I love to travel. I love to travel and kind of learn new things. And some people say, I don't want to go to Europe. I don't want to go anywhere else but the U.S. And look, I understand that. And here's why. There are so many places in America that I have yet to go. Some places on my bucket list, like anything north of Boston, I've never been there. I can't wait till Kimmy and I get to go up there. But I've been to California quite a bit. Primarily LA, a little bit San Francisco. But there's always something else to find and explore. Now, today, we're going to talk about a case in actually Los Angeles County, and I've never visited this location. And when talking with Brother Dave before this taping started, I expressed to him that I had never really placed this particular town on my radar. But boy, does it prominently play in the case we're going to discuss today. the case is involving a mama with 3 babies and a husband. She's dead, and they've all vanished into thin air. Coming to you from the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, I'm Joseph Scott Morgan, and this is Body Bags. Dave, I was just talking, and I know I sound foolish, particularly coming from someone that has spent a goodly portion of their life in California. I never knew where Lancaster was. And even beyond that, I always forget how big Los Angeles County actually is. It's massive. I mean, absolutely massive. It's got everything. And people always say that, you can be skiing in the morning and surfing in the afternoon. I don't buy that because I've been in the middle of traffic in LA. So well, I don't know. Maybe that was true in the early 60s. I don't know. I don't think that still applies. What say you, my friend?
It does apply during holidays.
During holidays. Okay.
Yeah. And when you're talking about Big Bear, which is really when people talk about going, you can go to the mountains and the beach on the same day. They're really talking about getting up in the morning and driving up to if you're in Los Angeles County or Orange County, okay? Those are the 2 areas. But you mentioned how big Los Angeles County is. It incorporates the Angeles National Forest for the most part, and it really does stretch out. So, you know what? One of the most popular pop culture celebrity websites is TMZ.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. TMZ actually stands for something. 30-mile zone. It's the 30-mile zone.
I never knew that. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call that area the TMZ because there's a 30-mile zone where everything in Hollywood in movies takes place in TV. It's this area. And when you think about it, you've got this 30-mile long and wide area that is Los Angeles and Orange County mostly. And that's where all of your stuff comes from. That you watch on TV or in theaters, that's where it germinates anyway. But that's what TMZ stands for. And so when we talk about this area, you talk about Lancaster, it's just like any other place you would talk about: Pasadena, Pacoima, Ventura, name it, Placentia or Yorba Linda in Orange County. It's another city that melds into all the other cities, unless you head out of town towards Big Bear. You can find comfort in knowing that there are places that are not just cement and housing or buildings for business. Lancaster is on that. It's to the north and east rather of Los Angeles. So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about. But this is a case of it's domestic violence, Joe. And the reason it exploded onto the national spotlight, Sheylla Cabrera was reported missing, and they took the report on August the 12th. August 13th, the very next day, investigators are able to locate a digital. Well, today we know that everything is on camera. They actually found digital footage, surveillance of the apartment complex where Sheylla Cabrera lived with her husband and their 3 children. And on this surveillance video, they see her husband, Jossimar Cabrera, dragging a large object that is wrapped in material. Okay. Now, if you've reported your wife missing and detectives see you on security footage dragging something in the shape of a body wrapped in something else as a disguise, they're going to put the highlight beams on you. And they, being detectives, were able to take it to the next level. And that's where this whole case exploded. You and I have talked about having B-roll footage for different cases, like JonBenet Ramsey. When you've got video you can run in the background of a news report, it gains a lot more of attention, of the public, rather. And that's what happens here. As soon as that goes public, Joe, a guy dragging something that looks like his missing wife's body out of their apartment complex, that's going to get you news coverage. And that's why it exploded the way it did.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I got to tell you, it's one of the more disturbing video images that I've seen, and it's not necessarily for the faint of heart. All right. But it's out there. Everyone can see it. And I urge you just to kind of understand, put this in context. If you have not been following this case, look at the struggle that this grown man is having. And you can't look at that and not at least think there might be human remains. And some people have called it a sheet. Some people have called it a bag. It looks like a sheet to me. It almost looks like a fitted sheet.
That's what I thought it was too, Joe.
Yeah. And look, because the elasticity in there along the edges, it'll kind of pop together anyway. The one thing about it, though, that I didn't, and granted, we only have this in profile, and it's there for a few seconds, and God, I hate to say this, man, it's so disrespectful. He's literally dragging this object across a concrete surface. All right, you can tell that it's poured concrete. And if this is, in fact, the remains of his wife that are being drugged, how incredibly disrespectful. You and I, we spend a lot of time, and I know, because I know your heart, and you know mine, we're advocates for the dead. All right. Because nobody else really talks up for them. I mean, I've always viewed myself that way. And I think some of that's translated to you, because, you have this awareness that people will do any and everything to dead. You and I have proven that over and over. We've got an entire catalog now of over 400 episodes of Body Bags. How many of those episodes would you say the dead are horribly disrespected? And I'm not just talking about the homicides that we've covered. I'm talking about the treatment of remains afterwards. And this is a glaring example. This almost looks like a guy that stands the potential of being evicted out of his apartment. He's trying to load everything up in there and drag it out to put in his truck so that he can save it and it's not going to be put out by the curb. Or he's hauling debris out. Again, you measure that against the idea that this is the mama of his children. Yep. And that's the police have not definitely said that. They've not said, because they can't necessarily. Right. But just that premise, thinking about that this is the way he's treating these remains. I think that it factors in quite a bit to, if you're doing the calculus on maybe how he viewed her in life and how he viewed himself, perhaps, if he did harm to her and if he's treating her remains like this. My Lord, Dave, what was life like inside that apartment?
Buddy.
It must have been. And you got 3 babies in there with him, too.
Yeah. And this one really hit me square in the eyes when I saw it, Joe. And let me tell you why. In 2012, I starred in a movie called River of Life. That's the other part of the Dave Mack world is acting. I've done a number of films and TV shows. And I was starring in this independent film called River of Life. And in it, I actually kill my wife, and I drag her body wrapped in a blanket out in the back, and I'm caught on security film doing this in the movie. And when we were shooting that scene, it was very difficult for, we didn't want to have me dragging a body. We wanted to have me dragging something else. You don't want to drag a human being out like that. I mean, it's especially on a low budget independent film, Right. And so we actually went through this process of trying to find the right amount of weight to use. And it ended up being, okay, you're going to have to lay down here for a minute and let me see what it's like to pull you so that I can act this out properly. It ain't easy, man. When you're talking dead weight, it's a lot
you're right.
to
Thank
pull.
you for saying that term, because I don't think that most people understand when they hear the term dead weight, they do not fully appreciate what's being inferred there. Yeah. And if I can just briefly explain that.
Please.
When in life, just think about it. If you've got kids, grandkids, I don't know, maybe your spouse, my back won't allow me to, lift my wife up and twirl around the house like I used to maybe a decade ago, but I try. I really do. We'll go waltzing around every now and then in the living room. But, there's a thing when someone is alive, okay, people don't realize that the living person is helping you. They don't realize that because, your body goes tense. And believe it or not, it's almost like you've got a built-in gyroscope in your brain, and it kind of adjusts your center of balance so that if one person is swaying one way, you can counterbalance it. And it's something with the equilibrium that happens in your brain. Dude, when you have a dead body and you're trying to do this, they're not going to cooperate. And it's not even like, it's not, let's say you got 100-pound person, okay? 100-pound person that's deceased is not like picking up 100-pound log. The log is static. Okay. Now it's going to be heavy, obviously, given that if you're capable of lifting 100 pounds, which I don't know if I am anymore. I might be. Maybe I got to go put that to the test this afternoon. But when you pick up a log that's static and you tote it, put it in terms of the South, we're toting it somewhere. It's a big difference than if you've got a body where the weight of the head is distributed in one area and you've got the feet down at the other area and then you've got the mid torso and it's always shifting. Bodies are, even if they're stiff relative to, like Riger, that sort of thing, they're not going to help you at all. And it makes it very difficult. And so the default position, I think, with somebody that's trying to move a body and try to get it to a conveyance where they can take it out, where they think that no one is going to find it, the default is maybe to throw it in the most convenient thing, like a sheet, and drag it till they get it to the vehicle.
So, do you want to start shopping for your next car but don't know where to begin? Start at CarMax, where you can shop your way from start to finish. Whether you're shopping for something practical, adventurous, or luxurious, CarMax puts you in the driver's seat. And if you want to shop cars that fit your budget, CarMax has your back all the way. Simply grab your phone and get pre-qualified from your couch, the dog park, or even on a coffee break. It's quick, easy, and has zero impact on your credit score. Want to explore your options? CarMax has plenty of options. In fact, with over 45,000 cars to choose from, CarMax has rides for almost every budget, including more than 25,000 cars priced under $25,000. From browsing online to checking out cars on the lot, you can shop your way at CarMax. Want to get started on the search for your next car? Start at CarMax.com for details and get pre-qualified today. Want to drive? CarMax.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Dave, let me throw a name out to you. And automatically, I think you're going to recognize it. Okay. Jorn van der Sloot. Who is that?
Hate that guy. You know, I don't hate many, but he's right up there at the top of the most scummy, horrible, evil people on the planet of the earth. And, you know, Natalie Holloway was not his only murder victim.
No.
He actually might not have been his first one that he got caught, but it was the second one. Almost on the anniversary of Natalie's death that he killed after she realized who he was. And he killed her in such a way in a hotel room that it goes beyond what a human being can do in terms of violence. It was animalistic.
Yeah, it really was. And plus, you know, I'll try to stay off my moral high horse here, but it's really hard. Children turn out in many ways the way they're raised, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, when you give them a lot of latitude and honey, just go do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And that's what happened. Well, guess where he's cooling his heels now? He's done in Peru, and it's a god-awful situation to be in, because if you think American jails are bad, American prisons are bad, I don't think that people can even begin to fathom what Peru would be like. All right. There's tough, and then there's Peru tough. All right. It ain't the same thing. It's horrible. And he's in that world. But interestingly enough, I think that van der Sloot, if he had it to do over again, he would, you know, Nancy and Mack were actually at the federal courthouse in Birmingham when he was arraigned that day.
Oh, wow.
And then they flew him out. That was part of the agreement, flew him out, and he went back to Peru. The case that we're talking about today out of California, this individual apparently that perpetrated this crime has decided that it would be better in Peru than to be here in the U.S., and not only better for him, but better for his kids. So after we've got this view, an all points bulletin is sent out for this missing mother. They recover a ring cam video. Suddenly they're looking for mom, and dad and the kids are nowhere to be found. Next thing they know, Peru pops up, and they've located these three kids. He's still out and about, right. maybe in Peru, wandering about. Who knows? I don't know how hard it is cross borders and that sort of thing down there. But has he just vanished into the wind? I don't know. But I know that the U.S. government's actively looking to have him extradited if they get their hands on him.
You know, it was interesting that we mentioned how investigators found the surveillance video showing Jossimar Cabrera. By the way, he has been charged with murder, so we can say murder suspect. Jossimar Cabrera was seen on this video dragging what is assumed to be his wife. And when the investigators were searching, now in this day and age, Joe, we have seen a number of cases where investigators were able to use surveillance video to track a person as they went about their crime. They use cell phone data, they use security film, and when they know a direction a car is headed and think where they might be going, they're able to anticipate and find digital evidence of their trip, and they can almost map it out digitally, which is what led them into the Los Angeles National Forest, or Angeles National Forest. I always say that wrong, just FYI.
No, it's default.
It is the Angeles National Forest, not Los. But anyway, That's where the very next day after she's reported missing, they're able to find her. The Montrose Mountain Search and Rescue Team discover this object similar to the one Cabrera was seen dragging, and it's down the side of an embankment. You mentioned the disrespect he showed.
Yeah.
And it's like he drug it and he treated it worse than you could treat a piece of furniture, Joe. Just throwing it down an embankment, and then loads up the kids, takes them to Peru, getting them out of this country as quick as he could. They were able to locate the children. The children, there's 3 of them. They are safe. They were removed from that custody. They're now being taken care of by somebody who has the total responsibility of not harming them, but still looking for Cabrera at this point, Joe. But what do we know about what kind of life they were living? Do we know, was there abuse in this family? Was she the victim of domestic violence?
It's they haven't had a big reveal at this point in time. And we're kind of thin on facts at this moment in time, but something apparently triggered this behavior to the point. And again, you referred to him, Dave, as a murder suspect at this point in time. He's no longer, just a person of interest. All right. Because they've hung charges on him. LA County District Attorney has. And so they have some kind of information. And I would imagine that one of the things that would happen, because their apartment was actually located in Lancaster, which, just so folks understand, Lancaster, they're saying the Angeles National Forest, and it's kind of commingled with some other federal properties in there. And I found it kind of interesting geographically. How would you get from Lancaster to, I think it's Arcadia, which is the address that the National Forest actually carries. And of course it can carry an address. It doesn't necessarily mean she was found in that little town, but that's the address of the Angeles National Forest right there. So you have to really do some serious skill driving to get from Lancaster over to that point. If it's on the further southern location adjacent to this little town, which I would assume is where the main gate is to get in to the National Forest, or approximating that area. And it's about an hour and 15-minute drive from Lancaster. So I'm envisioning in my mind, if he has a conveyance that he places her body in, does he go out and gather the children and their belongings, and just follow me here, and he throws belongings like luggage, everybody pack a bag, or I'm going to pack a bag for you, throw that in there into the conveyance, and they hop in the car, and Daddy, where are we going? We got to make one stop. Well, the one stop is along this isolated area, because, man, you talk about wilderness. I mean, it's impressive. It's because it's so vast, incredibly vast. So do you have your kids in the car with you when you're doing this? Because the next stop is going to be the airport. Now, I don't know where at this point in time, I don't know where he bounced out of at this point in time. The obvious would be, I would think LAX, but there are other airports around there. Did he head down to Orange County? Isn't that John Wayne Airport down there? I don't know if they have the ability to get you to Peru. You might have multiple stopovers in various locations. I guess there are direct flights out of Los Angeles to Peru. I'm assuming that there probably are. But logistically, this is an absolute nightmare in order to facilitate. Or you could look at it from the perspective that it's kind of simple for him. Yeah. Kind of simple, because I'm going to just take her, dump her, take the kids, and we're heading out.
Well, reported missing on the 12th, Joe.
Yeah.
When they go looking for him, they find the digital video of him dragging what they believe is her body. Well, when they go back to talk to him, he's gone. He bolted. The missing person thing is filed before they find the body. He's already gone. So, yeah, I mean, going from Lancaster to LAX and getting out of town, that's not that big of a deal.
I wouldn't think so. And, his vehicle, too. I think my thought is that once the vehicle's got to be somewhere adjacent to that. For those of you that have never been to LAX, It's kind of a nightmare. Of course, I measure everything by Atlanta, which is a perpetual nightmare that I fly out of. But LAX is in and of itself, a horror show most of the time. But you have to have that vehicle somewhere, unless you dump it somewhere else, catch an Uber. But again, that's going to put you on the radar, because now you got an Uber driver that sees you with 3 kids and he drops you off at a specific terminal at LAX. But I don't know how much this guy cared, because, I was thinking about what you said just a second ago about, the movie that you were shooting. And that was all the way back in 2012, Dave.
Yeah.
Think about the world, how much it's changed since 12 that we're in now, where there is videography everywhere you go.
Right.
I mean, ring cams are on everything. Do you remember when the Kohberger thing dropped? They were looking for camera footage, and this is something I was not aware of because I'm not in that atmosphere to have a Tesla. But I didn't realize that Teslas have, they have the ability to like catch images and that sort of thing of people that are passing by. I guess it initiates somehow. I'm not really sure how that works. They're everywhere, Dave. I mean, just everywhere. You can be snapped doing anything. And in this particular instance, we've got a pretty substantial bit of video evidence of him moving this item across the ground. And where she is deposited out here in this location, I'm wondering what state her remains were in. I'm wondering about accessibility, because when I hear that a body has been found in an isolated location like this, and it has been, how'd you frame it? It's kind of dumped down the side of a hill.
Yes.
Down an embankment. This is not showing due care to human remains. Right. This is speed. This is like you're just kind of rolling the body off. One thing that came into play here, though, is the fact that the police did in fact mention that item that maybe cocooned her body, it appears to be perhaps a green-colored sheet from their home.
So, do you want to start shopping for your next car but don't know where to begin? Start at CarMax, where you can shop your way from start to finish. Whether you're shopping for something practical, adventurous, or luxurious, CarMax puts you in the driver's seat. And if you want to shop cars that fit your budget, CarMax has your back all the way. Simply grab your phone and get pre-qualified from your couch, the dog park, or even on a coffee break. It's quick, easy, and has zero impact on your credit score. Want to explore your options? CarMax has plenty of options. In fact, with over 45,000 cars to choose from, CarMax has rides for almost every budget, including more than 25,000 cars priced under $25,000. From browsing online to checking out cars on the lot, you can shop your way at CarMax. Want to get started on the search for your next car? Start at CarMax.com for details and get pre-qualified today. Want to drive? CarMax.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty.
When Dr. Sabah and I decided to do a skincare line together, he said to me, we are going to give women meaningful beauty. And I said, that's exactly right. We want to give women meaningful beauty, which means each and every product is meaningful. It has a reason to exist. It's efficacious. You're going to get results. And then you just go out and live your life.
Meaningful Beauty. Confidence is beautiful. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship and signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Dave, I wanted to return back to a theme that kind of inhabits a lot of our discussions on body bags, and I've always held that I think that probably the vast majority of homicides that are committed in our country are as a result of some kind of domestic violence,
right?
Because contrary to what people think, it's not the stranger in the dark alley. It's just not. I mean, it does happen. Obviously, it happens. Okay. Nobody, lose your mind. It does happen. But you're generally going to get into a beef with somebody you're inhabiting the same space with. All right. And it turns very violent. We talked about the degree of violence here with domestic violence. You had mentioned history of domestic violence. What have you got relative to that?
Her mother, Sheylla's mom, said that her daughter, they lived in Peru before coming to Southern California. And while in Peru, according to Sheylla's mother, she had reported him for domestic violence in Peru. And the last time that they spoke, you got that whole control thing, right? A lot of men who abuse their spouse control them. And one of the control mechanisms is to, remove all their support.
Yep.
And what did he do? She reports him for domestic violence in Peru. He loads up the family and moves to L.A., where she knows nobody. And that came out at the vigil. Friends and neighbors, coworkers, they actually got together and did a vigil for Sheylla. Remember the murder victim, not another one. That kind of domestic violence rally to a degree. And one of them was talking about how that she didn't have any family in the United States. And this friend said, we have to be her voice. She has she had been totally separated from any kind of a support. So she reports him for abuse in Peru. He loads up her and his kids and brings them here. So, and then, obviously, he has been charged with her murder. He hasn't been convicted. He is charged with murder. And then the first thing he does, reports are missing, heads to Peru with the kids. The children are being taken care of by her mother, by the way.
Well, I know this. I know that I can almost bet that at this point in time, they've already looked into how many calls were made at that residence, both with, and they would look at it from the perspective of Lancaster PD that would work that area, and also Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. If anything else had happened, that might, maybe they got into a fight in a store, or he was seen hurting her or abusing her in any number of ways.
Now, Joe, I got a question for you about the body. And we saw him dragging what we believe to be her body. And if he reports her missing on the 12th, so we're going to have to assume that was a day after or the day that she died.
Yeah.
And so they find her body the next day wrapped in this blanket or sheet. What kind of information, what kind of forensic evidence are we going to find wrapped in this sheet? Is it going to be a good thing for him or a bad thing for him? It's going to be a
bad thing, because if you marry that up, what did I tell you? What did I say just a second ago? What kind of surface were they on? They were on a concrete surface, and that's all we can see. All right. So anybody that is hearing my voice right now, the next time you go outside, if you've got a sidewalk outside of your house, or maybe a walkway that leads to, your garage or whatever it is, look down just for a second. Take your hand and place it on that surface. Okay, place it on the surface and just gently rub your hand across the top of it. It's an irregular surface. All right. And even if you've got newly poured concrete, it is very abrasive. So that sheet, to me, which I think it's a sheet, Dave, is not going to provide very much protection. When we were little boys and Mom had us dressed in our tough skin jeans, even if you fell in your tough skin jeans, which would stand up by themselves, look those up if you're not familiar with what Dave and I are referring to. Even if you were wearing tough skin jeans and you pounded on your knees when you hit the ground, you're still going to have abrasions on there. Well, the dead can actually have pattern abrasions as well. Now, they're not really abrasions in the sense that we think about indwelling hemorrhage, because the dead don't hemorrhage. But what you can see, you think about drag marks in the dirt, Dave. Well, you can have these impressions on the body as it's being drugged. Most of the time, they're going to have kind of a linear appearance, and they'll be clustered, almost like concurrently with the surface that you're dragging them over the top of. And it will the abrasiveness is so substantial that it'll penetrate through that sheet. It's a very tiny membrane. It's not like you have them. I don't know. It's not like you have them in a multi-layered, even a body bag. A body bag is not going. You won't see those kind of abraded areas on there, post-mortem abrasions, if you will. So there'll be evidence. And look, man, if you take that video and you analyze it compared to the way you think, and they can do this with computer analyzation, Dave, where they can actually get an idea of the position of her body. I'm thinking she's laying like in what we would call a right recumbent position, where her right side is making contact with the ground. Her left side is up, and she's almost in a fetal position, or the body is, and it's being drugged. So I would look on like the right contacting side of the body, maybe points of the shoulder, the hips, that sort of thing. And you can actually see those kind of striations that would appear on the body. That's a big piece of evidence, man. I mean, huge piece of evidence. And then if you find those fibers, which I think you probably could, embedded in those insults all along there, that's going to be a telltale thing too. Here's another piece of evidence. I don't know where you get your sheets from, but most of the time, if you buy a package of sheets, all right, you're going to get a fitted sheet, you can get a standard sheet, and you get pillowcases, right? Well, are there other sheets and pillowcases that match that lot that this covering came from? All right, still remaining in the house. And that, again, is another point where you can marry up evidence. We've got something that originated from the same original pack here. Okay, so you've got that. I'm very curious, because I didn't, and again, we're kind of at a disadvantage of looking at the CCTV, but I didn't see any kind of like big stains on the outside of the sheet that would indicate that she's profusely, or the body is profusely bled. Sometimes you'll see those kind of super saturated areas. I'm not seeing that here. That doesn't mean that she's not bleeding, but what I'm interested in is going back into the house and searching the bedroom. Mom and dad want to have a discussion. They go in the bedroom, shut the door. The kids are somewhere else. I guess he could have chased her through the house. Whatever may have happened. But I'm going to go through that house room by room, inch by inch, and I'm going to look for any kind of bloody deposition in there, anything whatsoever that types out to her. You can say it's amazing. It's one thing to say, well, we found her DNA at a scene, all right, because the standard line now, it's almost rote. Everybody knows it. Well, you expect to find her DNA there because she lives there. You don't expect to find copious amounts of blood that marry back to her. Okay, that cannot as easily be explained away. because blood always denotes injury. So if I've got blood deposition at a scene, I'm thinking, okay, somebody was injured, prior to this. This isn't just like passively touching a surface and you're leaving, dead skin cells behind with touch DNA. That's something completely different. I want to look there. I want to know about the car. The car is huge here because if the car is being used to transport her body, I can tell you they didn't put the body into the back of an Uber and drive through the Angeles National Forest and say, hey, driver, can you stop here and let me take care of this that I have in the back of your car here? It's his vehicle or vehicle he has access to. So what was going on inside of that vehicle was, and my God, this is terrifying to think about. I can't help myself, though. I got to say this. Chris Watts.
Yep.
She was in that back seat. She was in the floorboard, and those babies were in the back seat with her. You remember that?
Yep.
And he was transporting them out there. Were those babies in there with their mama? Like in the cab of the vehicle? I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things, that comes to mind for me. What can these children communicate about that fateful moment, when they're being driven around and the next thing you know, they're sitting in a terminal in LAX and it's wheels up, baby. They're heading south. And then I think finally I'm going to be really interested in the scene itself because we believe if we think that her body is cocooned in this material and kind of pressed down slope or pushed down slope, is there anything else that he took and kind of tossed out, that approximates the body? Or was there anything else in that cocooning? Like, because I've had cases where I had one case I remember specifically where a shower curtain was involved to transport the body and the person had been stabbed and they took the knife that they had used and wrapped it up in the shower curtain too. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your efforts here because that helped us, because you've got literally the murder weapon there that's being gifted to you by the perpetrator. So you have those 3 points of contact here where you're wondering what else is there that's going to tell this poor woman's story because she can't. I mean, her light's been snuffed out now and she can't convey to us the horror that she probably endured, and not just in the moment of her death, but Lord only knows months leading up to it. He's going to drag her away from her family in Peru because he's been reported for DV. And he's going to land in Los Angeles where she's isolated, doesn't know anybody. I wonder how much access he gave her to a phone. How much was she allowed to work outside the home? Was she allowed to even answer a phone? Did he have her trapped in the house? I don't know. It's certainly horrible. And of course, these kids are, Dave, they're left in the wake. Can you imagine this? Can't find your daddy. Your mama's dead. And granted, you said that they're with her grandma, which is great. Grandmas are the best creatures God ever put on the face of the planet, as far as I'm concerned. They're with her, but there's only so much solace you can take in that, in this old world, Dave. And that's where these 3 kids are right now. They're down there and their mom and dad are completely gone, man. We're going to keep our eye on this case because I can tell you there is going to be much, much more to be revealed about this, particularly from an evidentiary standpoint. We still have yet to answer what method was employed to take this poor mother's life. We're going to keep our eye on it for you. I'm Joseph Scott Morgan, and this is Body Bags.
You see it instantly. It's Coldwater Creek, the mark of exceptional workmanship. And signature touches inspired by a Mountain West heritage. Distinctive styles created from quality fabrics, silhouettes perfected with just the right drape, feel-good fits offering ease of movement, and thoughtful details to elevate your look. For a wardrobe you can count on season after season, visit coldwatercreek.com. Shop the new spring collection at 20% off $75 or more with code IHEART20.
Sometimes all we want is more of the same, like another round of golf played from a channel with 24/7 coverage, another look at the garden, and the deer as they pick their way through it, another Taco Tuesday, followed by a whatever's in the fridge Wednesday. And to get more of the same, all we need is a little help. With adaptable care plans from qualified, compassionate caregivers matched to your family's needs, Home Instead can help you and your passions stay home, no matter what's on your horizon. Visit Home Instead online for a better what's next.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
This is Teddy Mellencamp from Two Teas in a Pod with Teddy Mellencamp and Tamara Judge. There's a new season of 90 Day The Single Life, and it's hotter than ever.
If you've never seen 90 Day before, this is the one that will get you hooked. Their marriages crumbled. Now, 8 singles are taking the lead and stepping back out to the scariest place of all, the dating world.
There will be exciting first dates, steamy hookups, big letdowns, and potential love waiting in the most unexpected places.
Don't miss a new season of 90 Day The Single Life, Monday at 8 on TLC.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.